Welcome to my channel. As a layperson, I like to share my understanding of Scripture. Today I'm looking at the numbers 70 times 7. I've called it complete revenge or complete forgiveness. So in Genesis chapter 4, verse 23 and 24, we see Lamech, a descendant of Cain, who is, of course, the one who murdered his brother Abel. He says to his wives, "For I have killed a man for wounding me, and a boy for striking me. If Cain is avenged 7 times, or sevenfold, then Lamech should be revenged 70 times 7. But in Matthew, we read a contrast. In chapter 18, verse 23 and 24, "Then Peter came and said unto him," that is, Yeshua, "Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Up to 7 times 7? And Yeshua said to him, I do not say to you up to 7 times 7, but up to 70 times 7. Since the number 7 is the number of completion, the prophecy in Leviticus 23 is about when all of Israel will return to the land, which was the promised kingdom, and they would experience complete forgiveness. In Leviticus chapter 26, verses 1 to 13, the Lord explains to Israel all the blessings that they will receive if they keep his commandments. In Leviticus chapter 26, verses 14 to 17, YHVH then explains to Israel what will happen to them if they don't keep his commandments and continue to sin. In Leviticus chapter 26, verses 33 and 34, it says Israel would be scattered among the nations because they would not give the land its Sabbath rest. And eventually they were exiled to Babylon for 70 years for exactly that, for not giving the land its Sabbath rest, and then they were returned to Jerusalem. So the whole exile in Babylon lasted 70 years. In Leviticus chapter 26, verse 18, it says, if they still refuse to walk in his commandments, even those 70 years would be multiplied by 7, which of course is 490 years. In Leviticus chapter 26, verse 21, it says, and if they still would not obey, the 70 years would be multiplied by 7 again, which we now are up to 980 years. Then in Leviticus chapter 26, verse 24, we read, and if they were still hostile to him, then the 70 years would be multiplied by 7 again. So now we have 1,470 years. And in Leviticus chapter 26, verse 28, if they still did not obey, they would be punished again 70 years by 7, which would now be 1,960 years. And since Jerusalem was destroyed in 70 AD, when the exile began, this exile into the nations was 1,960 years. Then the return of Israel will be in the year of 2030, as this prophecy goes. And if the ascension of the Messiah was 40 years previous, before the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD, then you would add 40 years to that, 1,960, And it would be 2,000 years from the Messiah's ascension to his return. This is an agreement with the 120 Jubilee years from creation, which is 6,000 years. So from creation to his return would be 6,000 years, or from his ascension would be 2,000 years. Since each day is 1,000 years, the Messiah's return and Israel's return, of who, of course, Israel will be in the first resurrection, will be 6,000 years. And then the start of the seventh day of the millennium, the day of rest, will begin. In Leviticus chapter 26, verses 40 to 42, we read, "If they confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their forefathers and their unfaithfulness which they have committed against me, then I will remember my covenant with Jacob, Isaac, and Abraham." Thank you for watching. If you liked what you heard, share with someone. And if you don't, share with everyone.